Turn 1. Look at the scoreboard. They fought back hard. They took objectives. They won fights. It didn't matter. The game was over before their second turn. This is Disruption. Let me show you how it works. Welcome back. This is part 3 of the Disposition series. We've done Taken Hold, Purge the Foe, and now Disruption. Quick refresher if you're new here. In 11th edition, your disposition plus your opponent's disposition decides which primary mission each of you plays. 5 possible matchups, 5 different missions. And you can be playing a completely different mission than your opponent at the same table. If you're playing Disruption, here's your slate. Into the Mirror, both of you play Outmaneuver. Into Taken Hold, you play Death Trap, and they play Determined Acquisition. Into Purge the Foe, you play Delaying Action, and they play Punishment. Into Priority Assets, you play Locate and Deny, and they play Extract Relic. And into Reconnaissance, you play Smoke and Mirrors, and they play Surveil the Foe. One geometry note before we start. In 4 of these 5 matchups, there's a single center objective. Reconnaissance is the exception. That board has 2 centers, and it changes things. We'll get there. Here's what makes Disruption different, and it's one of the reasons I love this disposition. Many of your points come from things your opponent can only undo by physically walking into them. Traps, decoys, markers, timing windows. You're not just fighting their army, you're planting problems all over the board. In this video, the scoring math for all 5 matchups, a game plan for each, a list building checklist, a real tournament list that went through a 195 player event with only 1 loss, walked against the doctrine, and an honest Aeldari verdict at the end. Before the matchups, the engine. 3 things power every Disruption game, and once you see them, every chapter in this video, it's going to be the same 3 things wearing a different mission. First, hold your expansion. Every game, no exceptions. 4 of your 5 mission cards have the exact same line on them. From the second battle round, at the end of your command phase, end of your turn in round 5, if you control at least one objective that isn't your home, you score 4 points. 4 points, 4 rounds. That's the quiet 16, same as we talked about in Purge the Foe video. It's the most boring line on the card, and it's a third of your score. The mirror is the one exception, and it's an exception because it actually pays you more, and we'll get there in a minute. Second, Disruption scores in bursts, and bursts can hit the cap. Here's a rule that matters more for this disposition than most of the others. Primary scoring is capped at 15 points per battle round. Disruption is one of the dispositions that regularly builds 15 plus point rounds, a turn 1 decoy run, a big trapping turn, an alpha strike, which means part of playing this disposition well is scheduling. If you score 17 in this round, then you've just burned 2 points forever. Spread the bursts. We'll hit concrete examples in almost every matchup. One footnote that you'll want later, end of battle scoring sits outside the round cap. That matters in 2 of these matchups. Third, the card changes, the toolkit doesn't. Every game plan in this video uses the same 5 jobs. Units that do actions, units that kill, a unit that holds your expansion, screens for your home, and something that threatens their home from reserves. Build the list so every job is covered, and each matchup is just reassigning the same crew. Hold that thought for the tournament list at the end. It checks every one of those boxes with completely different tools than you might expect. And that's the whole engine. Expansion every game, schedule the burst, same 5 jobs, 5 different missions. Let's go to work. The Mirror. Both of you play Outmaneuver, and this card is all about timing. Here's how it plays. Battle round 1, at the end of your turn, 4 points for each objective you control. Your home doesn't count, and that's true all game. Rounds 2 and 3, it becomes 5 per objective, but the timing moves to the end of your command phase, the start of your turn. Rounds 4 and 5, it's 6 per objective, back at the end of your turn. And one more line, Control your opponent's home objective at the end of your turn in any round, and that's 10 points flat. Notice what your own home is worth to you on this card. Nothing. 0. Holding your home never scores you a point. It exists for exactly one reason: to stop them from taking 10 off you. That's home defense in the mirror. Pure denial. The command phase scoring in rounds 2 and 3 is the tactical heart of this matchup. They score at the start of their turn, so if you want to deny it, the work happens the turn before. Going first, your turns 2 and 3 are the denial windows. Going second, you have to contest in round 1 or round 2. And that leads to the biggest play in the mirror. If you're going second, look at this. Take all 3 no man's land objectives at the end of your first turn. That's 12 points, your best possible round 1. And their round 2 command phase scores nothing because you push them off everything that counts. 12 for you, 0 for them, in one move. Which means when you go first, you have to assume that they're coming to do exactly this to you. Cheap insurance. Infiltrate something onto your own expansion. Yes, that unit may be able to get shot, and yes, it might hand them a secondary. The odds that they drew that secondary are a lot smaller than the odds that they end up going first and take a free run at your expansion. Here's the baseline plan. Round 1, hold your expansion in the center. That's 8 points. Rounds 2 and 3, assume a good opponent fights you off the center, and you keep just your expansion. That's 5 each for a total of 10. Rounds 4 and 5, the timing flips back to the end of turn, which is much friendlier. Expansion plus center is 12 per round, 24 total. That's 42, and none of those marks are unreasonable. Getting the last 3 points, you've got options. Push 1 extra objective in round 4 or 5, flood no man's land on turn 1 if you went first, or the home run, take their home late. 10 for their home plus 6 for it as an objective, that's 16 from one objective, which the round cap trims to 15, one objective, one maxed round. 2 warnings before we move on. Their home run works both ways. Deep strike, rapid ingress, anything that appears late can take your home in any round, so screen it all game. And this is why a unit that can leave and come back is gold in the mirror. Normal reserves have to arrive by the end of round 3, but an up and down unit keeps that 10-point threat alive in rounds 4 and 5, when their home is worth the most, and when their screening units are more likely to be dead. Layouts, quickly. On layout A, their home is a bit harder to reach. B is nearly as bad. C is the open one for both of you. On C, the home run is live in both directions, so plan accordingly. Pick and hold. You play Death Trap, and this is a matchup where the math doesn't look too bad. Your card. In your shooting phase, units can perform an action called Booby Trap, 1 unit per terrain area. It completes immediately and that terrain is trapped. At the end of your turn, 2 points per terrain area that you trapped this turn, plus 3 more if it's an objective, so 5 for an objective. You can't trap your own home or terrain in your own deployment zone, and here's the part some people might miss. You don't need to control anything to trap it. No objective control stat required. Just be there and do the action. Second line, any round, end of your turn. If an enemy unit that started the turn inside a trapped terrain area was destroyed, 3 points. That's flat per turn, not per unit. So killing 2 things in trapped terrain in 1 turn is still 3 points. And third, the quiet 16 line, holding your expansion. Now, the schedule. This is the engine's cap rule doing some real work. There are 3 no man's land objectives, both expansions and the center. Trap all 3 in 1 round, and that's 15 points. A perfect round exactly at the cap, which means don't trap anything else that round. It's free. The 2 other no man's land terrain pieces are worth 2 each. Trap those in a different round. And in a round where you're already holding your expansion and killing something in a trap, that's 7. Do not add 2 objective traps on top. 7 plus 10 is 17, and that cap will eat 2 of it. The full plan. 19 from trapping, spread properly. 3 or 4 kill turns on a trapped terrain will score you 9 to 12. Then the quiet 16. That's 44 to 47, and the game cap makes it 44 to 45. You're going to max this card if you execute. And their card, in one way, helps you do it. Determined Acquisition pays them 2 points for each objective that they get on that they didn't control at the start of their turn. Their card literally pays them to jump onto objectives that you should have trapped. Trap the terrain while their unit stands in it. The action completes immediately. Then kill that unit in that turn. They hopped on for 2. You collected 3 for a kill, and the trap already paid 5. The fight that matters is often the center. From round 2, they score 3 per objective at their command phase, plus 3 more if it's in your territory, and the center will always count. So, if they land on the center and you can't remove them, their next command phase pays 6 instead of just the 2 that they would have gotten for hopping on. That's a lot of points that we can't afford to allow our opponent to score. So fight the center. Round 5, you let it go. Their card moves to the end of turn scoring there, and it's going to be priced in our plan. Their realistic game, 4 to 6 in round 1. 5, 5, 7, and a big round 5 flood that the cap trims to 15. 36 to 38. And here's the sentence that wins you this matchup. Their points are endgame loaded, and yours are front loaded. They cannot catch you on scoring, so their real play is denial, shoving you off your expansion to kill your quiet 16. If they manage it twice, you're back in a real game. Defend that objective like it's the mission, because it is. 2 things to watch. A smart take and hold player may refuse to stand in trapped terrain. Then your kill points have to come off durable bricks. And you should think hard before overexposing to get them. And if they have sticky objectives, they can hold their expansion without putting a body on it. So we need to be ready to punish that by getting on the objective, take it, and then their flat 4 disappears instead. List notes for this one. Fast, cheap action units. Scout moves, at least 1 infiltrator to reach their expansion in turn 1. Real damage because take and hold armies often bring durable bricks. And remember, the acting unit gives up its shooting, so never double book your damage dealers as your trappers. Purge the Foe. If you watched part 2 of the series, you already know this fight from the other chair. We told Purge players exactly what the disruption plan does to them. Now it's your turn. Delaying action. 2 points for every enemy unit destroyed. And listen carefully because we did not say this in the Purge video. It's units destroyed in your turn, scored at the end of your turn. Overwatch kills, or units that die fighting back on their turn, none of that scores. If you're counting on 7 kills, they need to land in your 5 turns. Plan your activations like it matters. The rest of your card, the quiet 16, and 3 points at the end of your turn, round 2 onward, for holding a center objective and an expansion. Any expansion. Theirs counts, so remember that. The track, 7 kills is 14. Quiet 16, center plus expansion for 4 rounds is 12. That's 42, and their expected number is 41. You win the primary race by exactly 1 point, but if you get to 9 kills, you can max instead. And that's pretty much the whole matchup. 1 point of margin, and kills are the currency. Their card is punishment, and it revolves around 1 mechanic. At the start of their turn, they condemn 1 to 3 of your units. These units need to be near objectives or units that have killed something of theirs last turn. If a condemned unit leaves the battlefield that turn, killed or walked off voluntarily, they score 5, and that's flat once per turn, and it triggers at the end of either player's turn. 3 things fall out of that. First, the net -2 rule. Early game, if you push a fragile unit onto the center for your 3 points, and they kill it condemned, you took 3 and handed them 5. That's a net -2. If your center unit can't survive, you probably shouldn't take the center. Conceding 3 beats funding 5. Second, your killers become targets. The turn after your big kill turn, expect your hunters to wear the mark, screen them, or pull them back. Third, and this one's for your reserves, leaves the battlefield includes leaving on purpose. If your up and down unit is condemned, picking it up pays them 5 if they haven't already killed a condemned unit. Check the mark before you lift. We taught Purge players that trick in part 2, so don't be the victim of that little trick. Now use the engine's cap rule as a weapon. Their condemn list refills from units that killed last turn, so don't dribble your kills out. Concentrate them. A 4-kill alpha strike while holding your 2 scoring lines is 8 plus 4 plus 3. That's exactly 15, a perfect round. A 5th kill that round is wasted anyways, the cap eats it. Then follow with a quiet turn where you chip but not necessarily kill anything, and their condemn menu shrinks to whatever's standing near objectives. Big turn, quiet turn. That rhythm can score you full value and starve their card at the same time. Their expected 41, 4 condemned kills turns for 20. Their quiet 16, and the extra 5 in round 5 for holding more than you. Your denial lines. Take their expansion and the center in 1 turn. Rounds 2 through 4. That scores your 3 and zeros their 4 at the next command phase. Do it once and they're at 37. And never, round 2 through 4, let them hold center plus their expansion in their command phase, because that's their +5 for holding more. Round 5, they'll probably get it, and that's priced in the count. Last thing, they score 8 at the end of the game for holding your home, so defend it to the last model. Honesty beat for this one. This is the most list-dependent matchup of the 5 in a lot of ways. A Purge list that's durable, holds points, and still has kill bricks is a genuinely hard out. You have to find 7 kills against an army built not to give them up. Speed helps. Every list will often have some action units and soft support pieces. Hunt those down. 2 points is 2 points. Priority assets. This is the Technicians matchup. 2 nearly identical cards, and the game is decided in the 3 places that they differ. The setup first. At the start of the battle, you, as a disruption player, select 5 terrain areas outside of your deployment zone and put operation markers in each. In practice, it's always probably going to be the same 5. The 3 no man's land objectives and the 2 no man's land terrain pieces. You own the geography from before turn 1. What's identical? You both score 4 flat at the end of your turn if an enemy unit that started the turn on an objective is destroyed. Kills on objectives. You both have the quiet 16. You both score 4 when only 1 marker is left. Your unit is in that terrain and theirs is not. You both score a 5 at the end of the battle for the same last marker condition. And remember, end of battle points sit outside the round cap. And you both have the same action, sensor sweep. 1 unit on a center objective once per turn, and it only completes at the end of your turn if that unit still controls the center. It removes any 1 marker you choose. and there's a hard rule printed on the card. The last marker can never be swept. It's locked in place for the rest of the game. Now, the three differences, because they're the whole matchup. 1, their sweep scores 4 points. Yours scores nothing, but your sweeps by position, theirs by points. 2, kills on objectives pay you 4 and pay them 3. Same event, you earn 1 more point. And 3, you place all 5 markers. Here's how the game generally will flow. Both of you will sweep in rounds 1 and 2. Them for the points, and you for control and denial. 4 markers gone, and 1 is left, locked from round 3 on. You remove the marker near their expansion, and they'll probably remove the one near yours. So the last marker ends up landing on the center, and you want that. The center marker drags them into the middle of the board every single round, where your 4 per kill out-earns their 3, and where you were planning to fight anyways. The tracks. Going first, 16 from kills on objectives, then your quiet 16, and 2 or 3 of the last marker rounds. That's 40 to 44. Going second is often going to be better. Their sweeper has to commit to the small center terrain on their turn, and the corpse is still standing on an objective when your turn starts. Kill it, possibly round 1, and 45 is possible. On their side, 8 from 2 sweeps, probably around 12 for kills. Marker rounds, and their quiet 16 gets them to around 44 to 48 raw, which the cap, of course, makes it so it's 44 to 45. Run the numbers side by side, and they're probably ahead by around 1 to 4 points. So this chapter is about clawing those points back, and the levers are cheap. A single throwaway unit standing in the last marker terrain blanks their 4. They have to clear it to score, you only have to exist. Blank one of their kill rounds and they drop 3 more. Take the going second harvest, and that will help with the margin. Watch for 2 pieces of tech. If they have sticky objectives, they could sticky their expansion and screen you off of it. No body on the objectives means nothing for you to kill there. It is a risk for them. An empty objective is often something you can take, and taking it will blank their flat 4. So let's try to make sure we can punish it. And guard your own sweeper. The center terrain is pretty small, and one nasty Overwatch piece or a heroic intervention threat parked there can kill your sweeping unit before your turn ends, which would void the action. Send something that can take a punch with some help. The sensor sweep is center locked. It only completes if you still control the center at the end of the turn, so it can be switched off without killing anything. Just make the center unreachable. They can park bodies so you physically cannot get to the center. No control, no sweep, and that means the marker stays. You can do it back, screen them off the center, and their sweep is dead in the same way, but theirs pays 4 points. Even if they kill the screen, you've bought a turn, and a turn that they didn't sweep could be a turn of denial if you do the action instead. If you deny the sweep and you steer where that last marker ends up, that last marker is the one that can never be swept, and it can be in a position that's more favorable to you. One more thing. There's a smarter, meaner way to play this from the priority asset side, and their players are going to find it. But that's their episode, and we'll see them there. Reconnaissance. Buckle up. This is one of the craziest matchups in the whole disposition system. There's more to track here than pretty much anywhere else, and if the recon player knows what they're doing, this is probably your hardest game. It's also the finale of the guide for that reason. Everything the engine taught with burst, scheduling, and toolkit gets stress tested here. 2 things are different before anyone scores a point. This is the only matchup with 2 center objectives, so there are 6 total on the board. And this is the one matchup where the map layout changes your whole plan. So today we're going to actually talk about layouts, so hang on for that. Your card, Smoke and Mirrors. Your action is Decoy. In the shooting phase, 1 unit per objective, and it completes at the end of your turn if you control that objective. Your home can never be decoyed. Once an objective is decoyed, it pays you 2 points at the end of every one of your turns while it stands, plus 2 more if it's in your opponent's territory, 4 per objective per turn on their side of the table. Add the quiet 16, and then the big one, if 4 or more objectives are decoyed at the end of the battle, 10 points. And end of battle scoring ignores that round cap. So now to their side. And here's some of the injustice at the heart of this matchup. You spent a unit's action and had to control the objective to place that decoy. They remove it by ending a move on that objective. No action, no control, a single expendable unit walking past kills your marker. Your points cost activations, their denial is almost free. The rest of their card, Surveil the Foe. In their shooting phase, any unit of theirs can surveil one of your units. If it's within 18 inches, visible, it completes immediately and they're free to shoot it dead anyways. With a different unit, of course. If any of your units got surveilled that turn, they score 4, unless the surveilled unit is standing on a decoyed objective. Your decoys, in one sense, then are shields, but only locally, and they'll most likely just surveil something that's not on a decoyed objective. Assume that they score this basically every turn. They also have their quiet 16, 4 for holding more objectives than you, which realistically a round 5 push can accomplish, and 5 every turn from round 2 if 0 of your markers are on the board. Add their side up honestly. 16 to 20 from surveilling, 16 from their expansion, 4 in round 5 for holding more, and 2 or 3 all markers strip turns that gives them 5 each. That's a comfortable 45 and is pretty resilient. If you deny them something, they may buy it back with another strip turn. You will not stop Recon from scoring in a lot of these turns. You win this by outscoring them and denying in the margins. The layouts. Layout A. 2 of the 4 no man's land objectives are in their territory, 2 are not. Your close center and your expansion pay you this small rate of 2 points. That's their best layout and your worst. Layout B. 3 are in their territory. Your expansion sits just inside of it. Your center, however, is still not in their territory. In Layout C, all 4 no man's land objectives are in their territory. So every decoy on the board that you're allowed to do pays 4. And that's your best board by a mile. You don't control which layout you get, of course, so we're going to plan for A, because if you can handle A, then the other 2 are going to be easier. Let's talk about going first on layout A. In turn 1, you're going to want to decoy all 4 no man's land objectives, if at all possible. 2 and 2 on your side, 4 and 4 on theirs. That gets you 12 points, your biggest possible opening. Some of those units are not going to be coming home. Except that now, this is a scoring run, not a battle line, and the points have to land before their strip machine starts. From turn 2, simplify. Hold your expansion for the quiet 16, and just keep your expansion and your close center decoyed. Cheap units can replace those 2 safely all game. That income line is for a turn, which ends up being 16 more across the game. 12 plus 16 plus 16 is 44. We're just 1 short of maxing. The last point. In round 5, if you can put a decoy on something in their territory, that swaps one of the 2s for a 4, and the cap trims around to exactly what you need, which is 45. 2 mindset notes, because this is where players crack. When their chaff strips your center decoy, it means nothing on its own. Their 5 points needs all of your markers gone. So as long as your expansion decoy stands, stripping the center was somewhat of a wasted move for them, and you just quietly replace it. So don't panic and don't overreact. Stick to the plan. The plan has already priced this in. And if they do strip everything, re-decoy your expansion and one of the centers in their territory. That's 6 points of income against the 5 that they just scored, and in one way you win the exchange. It just costs you an activation, which is the real price of this whole matchup. Going second flips the plan a little bit. They'll probably screen their side in turn 1. You're probably only getting 4 to 8, not 12. So pivot to the end game. You have the last turn of the game. Decoys placed in your final turn cannot be stripped. There's no turn left to strip them in. So bank 2 or 3 action units, keep them alive purposefully, and in round 5, decoy your way to 4 standing markers, and that's 10 points, outside of the cap, on top of everything else. On this plan, you can even skip redecoying in turn 4. You are always going to finish it in turn 5 anyways. On layouts B and C, everything gets easier. On C, turn 1 could be 16 points raw, but the cap of course brings that back down to 15. And you take that trade happily because you can be maxed by round 3 or 4 just by keeping your 2 close objectives lit. How you actually hurt them? Fight their army. Recon often builds pretty MSU. A lot of cheap, fast, fragile units. Push them off the no man's land objectives, and their quiet 16 and hold more start to leak. Overwatch and heroic intervention threats tax every stripper that they send to strip your markers. It won't stop the strip, but it makes each one at least cost a unit in their turn. And at their command phase, make sure your objective count matches theirs at least. Home, expansion, your center, so that the hold more 4 points that they can score stays locked in the box until round 5. List requirements, and this matchup writes them in ink. At least 1 infiltrator, 1 or 2 scout moves, around 5 units that can do actions that you will lose several on the turn 1 run and throughout the game as they continue doing actions. And then the redecoy engine needs bodies all game, so this isn't just a suggestion, it's really the price of admission for this matchup. So, that's a lot of theory, but let's look at somebody who took Disruption to a big event and made it work. Michael brought a Tyranid list to Path of Glory, 195 players. He played Disruption and walked out with only 1 loss on the weekend, so full credit to Michael. Lists on the screen and in the description. Subterranean Assault Detachment, 1995 points, and after leaders are attached, 14 deployed units. Now, watch what happens when we walk it against the engine's 5 jobs. And this is the payoff. Action units, Lictor and 2 Neurolictors. Also, the Neurogants can do actions as well. Infiltrators are everywhere. He's very rich in infiltrate that scout moves don't matter as much here. Cheap contest bodies, he's got the Neurogants. They're only 45 points. Home defense, everybody knows that Tyranids love their Byrivores. Perfectly happy sitting at home, lobbing spore mines to help with secondaries while they babysit the objective. As far as damage, 2 Neurotyrant and Zoanthrope bricks that hit hard into almost anything. They also have the hyper-adapted Raveners, the regular Raveners, the Red Terror, a pair of Carnifexes, and a couple Exocrines. So that's a 4-kill Alpha Strike when he needs one, the exact rhythm that the Purge matchup needs. And the home threat, and this is one of the neatest parts of the list. He didn't bring a specific unit for it, he brought a detachment for it. The Subterranean Assault means that the up and down pressure is baked into how the army plays. Their home objective and their screening duty never gets a turn off. The Mirror chapter's biggest requirement solved at the detachment level. The Raveners do it natively on top of that. 2 boxes he covers with different tools than we talked about, and this is the lesson. We said Overwatch punishes markers, steppers, and sweepers. He punishes them with heroic intervention threats instead. He's got Carnifexes, Old One Eye, and the Red Terror. So walk on to an objective near one of those and see how it goes. And we said speed reaches the kills you need. His speed is tunnels. The checklist is about jobs, not necessarily unit names. So 5 jobs checked 5 different ways, 1 loss in a 195 player tournament. Pretty impressive. All right, Aeldari time. And I know many have been excited for this disposition as it's one that we feel Aeldari can function pretty well with. So the verdict first, because I always want to be honest with you before I show you a list. The Aeldari are genuinely fit for disruption. Killing on schedule, holding only small slices of the map, speed to put damage exactly where the mission needs it. That is the Aeldari way of playing. If you're on a team where matchups get engineered, Aeldari Disruption could be a real weapon. In singles where you take all comers, we might have stronger homes than some of the other dispositions. That's the truth of it, but here's the list because when it's right, it can work. 2,000 points on the nose. The Action Crew, 2 solo Warlock Skyrunners, Rangers, Corsair Void Reapers, with the Striking Scorpions and Storm Guardians as backups. That's 5 action bodies the Recon chapter demands, with Infiltrate and Scout as well. The Skyrunners double as 45-point contest bodies. One of them standing in the last marker train against priority assets is 4 points denied, possibly in multiple turns for just 45 points, but obviously we can use those guys for all sorts of secondaries and different matchups. As far as damage, we have Azerman with Dire Avengers. They have Move, Shoot, Move, which is tailor-made for certain aspects of this disposition. Step out, delete something standing on the center, and fade back before anything could condemn or surveil you back. Jane Zar with some Banshees, Lycus with Warp Spiders. Lycus not only does damage, but gives us a great way to attack our opponent's home objective. And her critical hits on 5 combos with the big Swooping Hawks units that get to possibly delete a real target. 2 units of Shining Spears for speed and damage into really any target. And that's what helps us get that 4-kill Alpha Strike without too much of a problem. We have lots of speed and lots of damage with these units. As far as holding, the Storm Guardians give us 11 respectively durable bodies. They sticky objectives, and that's probably where you're going to get your Quiet 16. Sticky also flips the priority asset tech to our side. If we sticky our expansion and there's nothing standing there for them to kill, that's pretty nice. As far as our home screening, we can use our Rangers when they're not infiltrating forward, and Storm Guardians and Hawks can be used when they are. As far as pressure, we have Baharoth with 5 Swooping Hawks for our up and down threat. Their home is never safe from rounds 1 to rounds 5. One warning on that unit from the Purge chapter, don't pick it up if it's condemned. The 10 strong Hawks could deep strike or rapid ingress or just be positioned well as another big threat. Warp Spiders carry the Overwatch tech, and Striking Scorpions, which is one of our tougher Aspect Warrior units in the game, are a decent center sweeper in priority assets. They can infiltrate or scout move up, sweep the objective with some support, and actually survive against some skirmishers to try to hold that ground. So every box from our engine is checked, same toolkit as a Tyranids, but completely different tools. And that's disruption. If you keep 3 things from this video: hold your expansion every single game, schedule your bursts. 15 a round is the ceiling, so make the bursts land clean. And build the 5 jobs into your list, because every matchup is again using that same crew doing different work. Part 4 is coming, and priority asset players, I already told you there's a smarter way to play your side of that matchup. and that'll be your episode coming in the near future. We also have Recon to look at as well. If you're a Take and Hold player or a Purge the Foe player who wandered in here, parts 1 and 2 are on the channel, and after this video, you know exactly what's coming for you. If this series is helping your game, the channel runs on the people below. Patreon and channel members keep these deep dives coming. Links in the description. Coaching's down there too if you want some detail on your own list and your own games. If you want a tool to help you with analyzing your list, I definitely recommend checking out the Culling Cogitator, which is an app that I've built that helps players analyze different lists against other lists or a curated set of targets. This is something where you can also join for free, and there's a link to the Discord that is currently small but growing, and we have a lot of good conversations in the Discord channel as well. So, thanks for watching, and go plant some problems. We'll see you across the table.